This video is a high-level walkthrough of an ASTM Proctor test implemented in QEST web app. Proctor, or maximum dry density tests, can get reasonably complex, so the worksheets are longer as a result. This video will introduce some key concepts of these test types. In the preparation section, the compaction method must be stated. This method relates to the mold size that is used. An allowable mold size is governed by the size and amount of coarse material present in the sample under test. When setting the method, the technician can be faced with one of the following situations. The material may be unknown, requiring classification, in which case the method to be used will be determined by measuring the oversized material. Alternatively, the method to use for the material under test can be predefined by a specification or the party requesting the test, in which case the specified method needs to be validated by the measuring of oversized material. It is important that any Proctor worksheet support both of these approaches because the processes are in many ways mutually exclusive, but both are allowed for by the test method. In this case, we have measured the oversized material as part of this test, but we can also choose to import it from a sieve test that was previously completed. When looking at the oversized material, we have an embedded water content test for the as-received water content, which is used to calculate the dry mass of the fine material. This embedded water content is the same worksheet as the standalone water content test, including all of the warnings and rules that are implemented there. Part of the oversized correction in the ASTM Proctor test is to determine the specific gravity of the oversized material, so we have an embedded specific gravity test within the Proctor test as well. Again, we could choose to import the values from a separate specific gravity test instead. We won't go through this embedded test in too much detail, but it's worth noting that the temperature measurement has been corrected from the calibration value of the selected thermometer. Looking at the compaction section, we have an imported density mold which imports the mass and volume of that piece of equipment to be used in calculations. We've elected to use this mold for all compaction points for increased efficiency of data entry. It is possible, of course, to decide not to do this and select different molds for each compaction point. This is especially useful if an extra point is found to be required after the initial 4 have been completed. The converted wet density chart is there to assist the technician in ensuring they have compacted sufficient points. It is not the maximum dry density chart. Instead, it uses the percentages of water added to the compaction points and the as-received water content to estimate the dry density values of each point, so that the technician can see whether or not the chart is starting to drop. Modifying one of these points shows how the chart updates to provide real-time feedback to the technician. Finally, the second section of the compaction grid acts as a set of embedded water content tests, whose dry masses can be entered via the Grid Dry Mass Data Entry feature, discussed in a separate video. The results section shows the maximum dry density chart and results for both the fine material as tested and also corrected for the presence of oversized material if necessary. Reporting of these tests occurs on QEST Labs reports, with the charts being lifted directly from the worksheet itself, meaning that the workflows around reporting need not change either. Additionally, if there is an Atterberg limits test on the same sample, it can also be reported along with its plasticity chart on the same report. If you have any questions or would like more information about QEST web app, please contact SpectorQuest.